class. We're going to start in a seated position. I like to put a pillow underneath my glutes just for a little bit of extra support. Helps me sit up taller, helps me find a little bit more comfort. And let's get started. Finding our breath here. Maybe we sit up tall, placing our hands maybe on our knees. Maybe they just sit in our lap, whatever feels good to you. We're going to welcome our bodies and our brains to a beginner-friendly vinyasa. So a lot of times, and even in my own personal experience, vinyasa can be a little daunting. It can be pretty fast-paced, and oftentimes there's not a whole lot of variations or accessibility for people who may not feel comfortable in certain poses. So I kind of wanted to bring a little bit more gentleness, a little bit more accessibility, and a lot more like fun and lightheartedness to this class, to this practice, because life's too short. We don't need to be hating our life during a yoga class, okay? So we're going to get comfy. Again, like I said, putting something underneath our hips, but just welcoming ourselves to this practice, telling ourselves, maybe affirming ourselves with I am strong or I am capable, or finding something else that feels good to you in your soul and your body. But just giving ourselves a little bit of affirmation here, words of encouragement or support, knowing that how we are right now, how our bodies are, we are worthy, we are capable, and we are powerful. And we can move through however we'd like to. And this class is free for us to move in what ways feel good to us. So deepening our breath here, sitting up tall. Maybe we bring those shoulder blades together a little bit, and maybe just slightly tucking our chin to our chest. Inhaling in, thinking about bringing that breath right to the belly. Big inhale. And exhaling out. Expanding and stretching the abdomen. Taking another deep inhale in and exhale out. We're going to bring that breath as we come into circular motions with our body. So some call this like a coffee grinder motion. We're just moving through gently all the way in a nice circle. Really feeling our hips stretch, our spine, getting some loving movement. And we're really just going to wake up the body here, getting rid of any stagnant energy, any stress, any tension, maybe putting our to-do list off for just a few moments so that we can enjoy this time with our body and our mind. We're going to reverse that circle, so just go the opposite way. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Good. We're going to come into stillness, coming into that tall, powerful seated position. We're going to bring our chin to look all the way up towards the sky, really opening the front of the neck. In here, we're going to come into head circles. So moving whichever way you would like to first, moving gently, noticing how our neck feels this morning or whatever time you're practicing this. Inhaling in, maybe reversing the circle, going the opposite way. Taking stock in how our body feels. Good. Coming to stillness, bringing that head neutral. If you have a block with you, I want you to bring it just off to the left side over by your hip. You don't have to have a block here. If not, you can just place your hand right onto the side. We're going to lift our chest forward, inhaling in, bringing our right hand all the way up towards the sky and dropping it over to that left knee. We sit up tall and we twist over, looking towards the back of our shoulder. Inhaling in, thinking about twisting a little bit deeper. And exhale, release. Good. You can bring that block back and you can bring it back to the right side if you have it. Dropping that right hand off to that right side. Inhaling in, we lift the chest up. Bring that left arm all the way up to the sky. Inhale and exhale, dropping it to that right knee. Inhale and exhale, we twist, looking over past that right shoulder. Inhaling in, twisting just a little bit deeper. And exhale, release. Good. Moving that block up, if you have them, back to the top of the mat. Inhale in. We're going to sit up tall, bringing our hands to our knees. And we're going to lift the belly forward, opening our heart and our chest. And exhale, we bring our chin to our chest, rounding that spine. Good. Coming back through to the middle. We're going to make our way into tabletop position. So slowly and moving with gentleness. So sometimes I like to bring either like a blanket or something under my knees to bring a little bit more comfort. And you may do so as well. But as we get into that tabletop position, go ahead and if you have those blocks, bring them pretty right underneath our shoulder blades, and our knees will be hip width apart. So as soon as we find that position, we're going to sink down into cat-cow. So we're sinking that belly down, lifting the chin and chest forward. Inhale in. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. And moving slowly. There's no rush here. I want you to really feel every vertebrae, every muscle kind of moving as we stretch. So again, moving in your motion, in your rhythm with your breath. Sinking that belly down, lifting our heart. And exhale, rounding the spine. We're going to do one more set of this. Inhale in, sinking the belly down. And exhale, rounding the spine. Good. Coming into that neutral tabletop, we're going to flex our toes so we feel a deep stretch in our toes. And we're just going to kind of sink back and hinge back into those hips, finding that deep stretch in the feet. Inhaling in and exhaling out. We're going to slowly press into our hands and come all the way into that downward facing dog. So here, if this is a difficult position for you, maybe make your stance wider. Your feet can come off the mat. You're not regulated only into your mat space. You can come out a little bit further. And if that doesn't feel good, maybe you make it shorter and a little bit closer together. Find that downward dog that feels good to you. And we're just going to pedal it out here for a few seconds. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Good. Bringing the knees down. We're going to lift that right foot all the way up into a low lunge. So swinging our hands all the way up to the sky, sinking into that left leg. We're going to bring our hands back into cactus arms. So we're really opening the chest here. Elbows are down. Inhaling in and exhaling out. We're going to drop that left hand to the right knee, and we're going to bring that right arm all the way out into a spinal twist. Inhaling in And exhaling out, coming through to the middle, dropping our hands down. We're going to lift up on that back leg, and we're going to come into our first plank. So if this isn't comfortable, you can come into like a half plank or just come into your tabletop position. Inhaling in, holding that plank for 1 second, and exhale, coming down. So again, if you don't want to go through a whole vinyasa, you can come into child's pose, or we can come onto our belly, lifting up in an upward facing dog. Good. Dropping back down. Everybody coming back onto our knees. Plank position, and then coming back up into downward dog. So a lot of times these flows don't have to be this perfect flow. We don't have to have it all flowy and gentle and beautiful. Sometimes our bodies are just rigid and tight, and we have to move in what feels good to that. So there is no right or wrong. Inhaling in, coming into that downward dog, stretching, maybe pedaling it out. Good. We're going to drop our knees back down, bringing that left leg forward into that low lunge. Inhaling in, we sweep the arms all the way up. And maybe you come back a little bit and not bend so far into that leg right at the second. Finding stock in our body, balance, stability, and then maybe you sink down a little bit further. Again, we bend our arms into cactus arms, really opening up the chest. Good. Inhale, bringing that right hand to our left knee. We spin all the way out. Left arm is out into a spinal twist. Inhaling in and exhaling out, coming back through to the middle, lifting up on that back leg. Again, coming to plank position or back into a tabletop. Again, we can go all the way down to our belly into an upward facing dog, or we can come into child's pose. Lifting all the way back up. Everyone comes into tabletop, to plank, and then downward facing dog. Good. Inhaling in and exhaling out. We're going to plant our left foot into the mat, lifting that right leg up. Inhale, we bring it all the way to the top. Maybe you make a couple of steps, and we lift up into a high lunge or warrior one. Feeling tall, and here, if you're not feeling stable, maybe we shorten our stance a little bit. Good. Pivoting our left foot out, coming into warrior two. Our upper body is shining forward. Inhaling in. Exhale, bring it back to warrior one, facing forward. Here, coming into a spinal twist. Turning over towards the right, arms are out. Inhaling in and exhaling out, coming back through up. Exhale, painting a wall down with our hands, moving slowly down to the mat. Bring our hands to the blocks. We're going to bring that left foot all the way to meet our right foot into a forward fold. Taking a moment here to breathe. Maybe we clasp the elbows and rock side to side, or maybe you just find stillness. Good. Inhaling in, we bring both feet into that plank position, or we come into tabletop. Again, coming into that full vinyasa, or we can come into a child's pose. lifting all the way up in that upward facing dog, coming back down, meeting ourselves into plank, and then downward facing dog. Pelling out here in downward dog, inhaling in and exhaling out. Sinking that right foot into the mat, lifting that left leg up, inhaling in, we find it all the way up towards the front of the mat. Maybe we take a few steps and we come into that high lunge or warrior one. Again, shortening that stance if you need a little bit of stability here. Good. Pivoting that foot out, that back foot, we come into warrior two. Inhaling in, arms are strong, upper body is strong. Inhale in, we lift the arms back up, facing forward. Warrior one. And then we're going to come over towards the left. Arms are out in a spinal twist. Inhaling in and exhaling out, coming back through to the middle. Bringing our palms to face all the way down as we come and bring our hands towards the mat. Bringing that right foot back to meet our left foot up at the top of the mat. Forward fold. Finding a moment here to stretch, to rest, to find our breath. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Good. We're going to find ourselves in our last plank. So we can do this, guys, okay? Bringing our feet back, firmly planting plank pose, coming all the way down towards onto our stomach here. Lifting all the way up and upward facing dog. And coming back down, and we're going to stay on our belly. So here, if you have the blocks, you can move them a little bit out. And we're going to place our hands and really stand firm on our fingertips here. And we have a wide stance, so we're coming into cobra pose. So inhaling in, sinking the belly into the mat, we lift the upper body up. Chin is still tucked into our chest. And exhale down. Inhale in, coming all the way up, lifting that upper body. And exhale down. Maybe we make this one stance a little bit wider. Our hands are a little bit further out. Inhale in, we lift, finding that power, that energy within us, and bringing it back down. Good. We're going to slowly make our way onto our back. So we can just come onto our side here, to our backs. We're going to bring our feet on the mat. So we're going to bend those knees. And you can make your stance pretty wide here. So our feet might fall off the mat just slightly. We're going to bring our hands out to the side. We're going to just come into windshield wipers. Back and forth, opening the hips. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Slowing our heart rate down, just letting our body take in the movement that we just did. All right, coming to stillness, we're going to bend that left knee out towards our side. we're going to hold onto our left foot into a half happy baby. You can extend that right leg out or you can keep it bent. You're just going to sink into that left hip for a few moments. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Good. Dropping that foot. I'm going to do that on the right side. So bending that knee, grabbing the top of that foot. Here, if you can't grab it, you can use like a strap or a towel. Again, you can extend that left leg or keep it bent. Just inhaling in and exhaling out. Now here we can do a full happy baby, bringing both feet up to the sky. Hands are holding onto our feet, and we can move side to side if that feels good. If this pose does not feel right in your body, maybe we just come into a butterfly pose. So our feet are together and our knees and our inner thighs are shining out forward. Taking a breath here in whichever pose feels good to you. Inhaling in and exhaling out. We're all going to extend both of our legs out. We're going to lift our heart space up so we're bringing our shoulder blades together. Maybe our palms face up. And we come into our final posture of corpse pose or shavasana. Letting the practice settle into our nervous system, into our muscles. Giving gratitude to our bodies for the strength and power and energy that they have, that it gets us through every day. What a blessing that is. Inhaling in, one final deep breath in. And exhaling out. Thank you for joining this practice. Namaste.